And welcome to episode 19 of the Backdoor Cut podcast. We've got Kyle J. Hartwick, our valiant leader, while Jamie is gone and TJ is controlling Instagram. How are you, Kyle?
I'm good. I'm a little tired, but I'm good.
I can hear it in your voice. And we got, is it the second time we've got you back now, Jacob?
It would be.
It is at Jacob Rude, the owner of his own podcast. Everyone needs to give that a listen. Okay, how are you, Jacob?
I'm doing well. The podcast has just started. I appreciate the shout out. If you guys want to give it a listen, that'd be great. But yeah, I'm doing well. It's the summer. Life is much easier in the summer, so I'm enjoying it.
It is. Good, good. So, fellas, just ending yet today, right, was the USA Select team, and a couple days ago was the end of the Las Vegas Summer League. So let's ask Jacob. You were at Summer League. I'm very jealous. I was up in Idaho.
Potato Nation.
Potato Nation. What were your impressions of everything there?
I'd heard before the years passed about how much fun it was. It lived up to expectations. It was a blast. Not only just getting to meet and hang out with everybody, the Lakers Twitter, so to speak, but just the experience was amazing. You get to sit. If you're a hoops junkie, you get to pay about $30 and sit and watch 4 or 5 games nonstop. They're right back to back. As soon as one game's ending, they're warming up for the next. So, and then, when you're not watching basketball, you're in Las Vegas. So, it was a blast. Lakers specific stuff. I believe I wrote a little bit about it a week ago or so, but I was really impressed with. I think one of my biggest takeaways was how D'Angelo Russell has kind of taken the team, kind of made it his own. At least in Summer League, he was the leader of that team. He was going around, he was talking to everybody, encouraging everyone. Every dead ball, he was grabbing somebody, and you could see him either pointing somewhere on the court or just talking to them. And it was I guess reassuring. Probably is a word I'd use, because after the year he had last year with Byron kind of constantly tearing him down, and then the whole Snapchat Nick Young thing to end the year, this was really the first time we'd seen him since that, and it was reassuring to see him kind of live up to what our expectations had been of him. And it was just a blast to watch. He looked like a man among boys out there, really. He was just in control of everything. So I think that was probably my biggest takeaway. And then, Larry Nance looked great, especially defensively. Ingram had his moments, especially the last game. You can see the tools are there, but he is 18, so it's going to take a bit. So. Really, it was a blast. I'd recommend it. I know it's easy to recommend it, a trip to Vegas, but I would recommend it to any Laker fan, any NBA fan. It's just a lot of fun to go out there to hang out with a bunch of NBA fans and to watch your team, or really any team, play.
Nice. Was there any game that stood out to you in particular?
I was in the air for the first game. I was at the Sixers game, and then I was at the Warriors game. Both were obviously the Sixers game, the first half was absolutely brutal. We were all sitting there. We'd sat, for those that don't know, it's general admission. So you have to get there pretty early if you want to sit close to the court. So we got there. The Lakers played, I believe it was 5:30, and we were there by about noon. and we're sitting there in the first half thinking, oh my God, we sat here for 5.5 hours to watch this. I mean, it was just horrible basketball, but it was all made up for in the second half. And then, I mean, D'Angelo's game winner was just, I'd been live for a couple game winners, and that one was just, I mean, it was a summer league game. The gym was sold out. I mean, they crushed the attendance record. And contrary to anything that Chris Mannix says, it was not even remotely full of Sixers fans. There might have been like 20 Sixers fans there, and the rest were Laker fans. And just that eruption when he scored. I mean, I I pointed it out to a couple people. We were close enough to the court that when ESPN feed zooms out, you can see me jumping up and down like a crazy man. My red shirt right behind the scores bench. So if y'all want to go watch the video again and make fun of me, be my guest. But I'm sure I was doing what everybody else is doing. But that game was a blast. And then the second game against the Warriors, we actually got to watch the game. I don't know if you guys follow him at Laker Film Room. He's wrote a couple pieces for Lakers Outsiders. He was there with us. I mean, he's one of the most intelligent basketball people I've ever met, and it was just a blast to sit there and talk to him during the game. And then again, D'Angelo just took over the first half, and it was just amazing to watch. I mean, he showed a lot. He showed more really in probably those 3 games he played than he did all of last season. I mean, I know I kind of keep going back on it, but that was my biggest takeaway. I mean, he finally looked like the kid that we had hoped we were getting at the number 2 pick. So it really has me excited and kind of encouraged for what's to come.
Nice. What about you, Kyle? I know that you weren't there. You were in Illinois, but you were watching the games. Was there anything that stood out to you, or any games that stood out to you?
I think my biggest takeaway, and I was unable to watch. I think I was able to watch maybe half of one game live, but I did go back and I watched the last 2 minutes of that Sixers-Lakers game. And the thing that I took away most was D'Angelo Russell's interview with Jay Adonde after the game, where Adonde just goes, tell us how you felt at that last shot. And D'Angelo Russell just goes, man, I played like shit. Props to my teammates, stuff like that. And I feel like that was him venting out all frustration that he had under Byron, and in a shot, in an interview, he felt good. And I was just really happy to see him feel that way, because we'd see him get basically crapped on all of last year by anybody who cared, and
a lot of people just didn't.
Yeah, he just finally realized, this is my team, and these fans are here to see me, because he heard the crowd roar when he made that shot. They weren't cheering for Kobe, they weren't cheering for Nick Young, they were cheering for D'Angelo Russell. So to see just him feel it and release all of that emotion, it was a really cool experience. I've watched that last 5 minutes probably about 5 or 6 times since it happened. And I will say I am a huge D'Angelo Russell fan, so I am going to focus on him a lot. But yeah, it was fantastic.
And just to jump in real quick, you mentioned that interview, and that one interview kind of and somebody pointed this out, I can't remember who, but for a guy who was supposed to be a terrible teammate, the first thing he did was thank his teammates repeatedly, and then we talked about it that night after it happened. He complimented Coach Mermes' play that he drew up. How many times did he do that in Scott last year? So I'm not sure Byron ever drew up a play in the huddle. So you could see it, and like Kyle said, he's right. It was just almost like a turning of the page. That moment, he was And I mean, from that moment forward now, for at least the near future until the season starts, um, he's the guy now for the Lakers. They're cheering for him. They're going crazy for him. So I mean, um, it's exciting. It's exciting to for the first time in I don't know how long between the summer league and the USA Select team. It's exciting to be a Laker fan again.
Yeah,
It is.
and people always during last season they talked about Kobe passing the torch, and how that was always going to be this monumental moment. And Kobe said, I think he had a quote during the season where he said he wasn't going to pass the torch to anyone. He was just going to, let it happen. He didn't feel that need to. I think that D'Angelo Russell took the torch that
Oh
night
yeah.
because he made this very clutch shot to win a game, albeit it was summer league and it's not the best competition in the world, but it was still this great moment for him, and I feel like there was some universal moment where Kobe Bryant was no longer the guy for the Lakers, and it got handed over to D'Angelo Russell, and that could just be me making stuff up because I love him, but it's hard to tell, and I hope it's going to be a step going forward for his leadership.
I
And
agree.
yeah, that's either like you said, that's either a moment where you're gonna kind of say what could have been with D'Angelo, or the moment where, like you said, where he took the torch, and it's only going up from here.
I agree. I think you guys hit everything on the head. I don't really need to say much on that. Um, was there anyone that disappointed you? I know that there was one player in particular that a lot of people were disappointed in, mainly because his shot wasn't falling, and I think we all know that's Anthony Brown. He had that final game where he hit what 3 of 4 in like the last 5 minutes, I think it was, and I that's the guy that I think is going to be like key in some respects because he's a 2-3 who should be a good shooter. At Stanford, I think he shot 44% in his final year, but you could see in that game against the Cavs when 25-year-old Jordan McRae, people need to realize that like he was a true like that's a man, like he's 7 years older than Brandon Ingram. When he was off the floor, that was when McRae went off. So, you know, I'm excited about his defense, and I'm hoping that he comes along. But I think that was the main takeaway that most people had of any negativity was how he just couldn't nail a shot. Do you guys have anything to add to that, or any other players that uh, you walked away from wanting more?
I guess with Brown, I think it's just more about him finding a consistent role, which he didn't have last year at all. I think there was a time where he went from playing in a D-League game to being the starter for the Lakers the very next night. And
That
that was,
night was against I believe Kevin Durant too. So he goes
yeah,
from
Yeah.
the D League to starting against Kevin Durant, which he didn't play great against, but he was a rookie and he didn't just get absolutely torched.
right.
So
And
he's
I
got
think
defensive chops.
what people are easily forgetting in this offseason, and I'm not gonna like call people out or anything, but there are a few people who keep forgetting that Byron Scott was the coach for the Lakers last year. And they're judging all of these people where it may have been their rookie or their sophomore year, and they're thinking, okay, well, what is this person going to be going forward? Or what are they going to bring to the team? And I think it's unfair to judge that because the coach was the worst Lakers coach ever, probably the worst coach in any franchise
He's
history.
got the worst NBA or the worst winning percentage of anyone that's coached over 1,000 games.
Yeah,
I believe.
and even if we're taking his record and throwing it out the window, he was just the worst person to be around. He didn't bring anything to the team that I felt was positive. I can't think of one thing that would qualify Byron Scott to be a good coach. And so it's easy to get guys and see what they did last year, like Julius Randle, Anthony Brown, and say, oh yeah, well maybe we should give up on them. But you have to realize it was one season, their first season, and it was under the league's worst coach ever. So with Anthony Brown, I think it's just him. He's got to get back in the mindset that Byron Scott isn't the coach anymore, and he's under this fantastic new system. He's just got to work hard,
And
and
get
I think he
comfortable.
has. Yeah, he has the mindset for that. I believe. I know he played with a guy that went to high school around here, Chasan Randall, over at Stanford, and they're both hard workers. So I feel that if I know Chasan could do it, so I think Anthony Brown can do it.
I hear it. Jacob, do you have anything?
I mean, I think the only player that anyone was disappointed by was Brown. It's a little harsh almost to say disappointed because I mean he was a great defender.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he was playing within the offense. I mean I saw him create more than I can remember at all last year. I mean he was driving to the rim. He was hitting some mid-range shots, but I mean his bread and butter with the actual Lakers and not the summer Lakers is going to be knocking down threes. And I had the debate a little bit on Twitter. I mean, he can't afford and the Lakers can't afford to give him a lot more time. I mean, this is kind of a make or break year for him. And I don't want to put a ton of stock into summer league, but he finished Summer League 5 of 17 from 3, and 3 of those are in the final game. I think he was 3 of 4. So, I mean, he's something like 2 of 14, 2 of 13, something like that in the 4 games before that. And that's not something new. I mean, last year during the season, he couldn't hit open shots. And, I mean, that obviously, like you guys said, could be attributed to playing one night in the D-League, playing the next night against Kevin Durant. But he was 28% three-point shooter last year in the NBA. He was I think it was 28% in the summer league this summer too. Yeah, 29.4. And it wasn't like in the D League he was a little bit better, but I'm trying to find the stats here right now. The D League he was a little bit better. He was 31%. Isn't great, but I mean. He's good enough defensively. I think he'll probably he's young that I don't see the Lakers cutting him, but if he keeps shooting like he did those first 4 games in the preseason, I mean he's going to make what should be a relatively easy decision, possibly a tough one because if his one job is to knock down shots and he can't do it, which is weird because as you guys said as a college player, he was a 40-some% three-point shooter. Like he was one of the best shooters in the nation. Yeah. So hopefully, I believe he had a quote saying that he was stuck in the mud last year in the offense, which is fair. I mean, the offense last year didn't create many open looks. Hopefully, this offense, which is designed to move the ball, create those open looks. Hopefully, he can find a better role in it because I like Anthony Brown and he's the perfect 3-and-D guy. He's got the D part down. If he can start hitting threes, he could be a role player on a contending team.
I agree. Did you guys want to talk anything about the USA Select team? I think there's a lot out there, and not enough clips to form a true opinion on anyone, but did you guys want to speak on that, Jacob?
I mean, the only thing that, and I believe Harrison and Anthony mentioned this, it's just refreshing to see coaches talk positive about the Lakers players. And I know I'm the last one that wants to bring up Byron again. He just didn't do it, and it was exhausting. The only person he said anything positive about was Kobe, and everybody else it was always negativity. So it's nice to see somebody who's coaching Lakers players to walk away and say, like, D'Angelo Russell's like Pop did yesterday. D'Angelo Russell's a really clever player, and it's a lot of fun to coach Julius Randle and stuff like that. I mean, that I had a smile on my face the whole time I was watching that interview, just because it's something that we are not used to see a coach compliment the Lakers.
Yeah. Kyle, you have anything?
I haven't really been able to look at a lot of the select team stuff. I heard the Pop quote about Julius Randle, which was really uplifting, and I think it definitely was necessary with the conversations that have been happening in the past couple of weeks. But
yes.
Going back slightly to the summer league bit, I did want to see more of Mustafa Fall, just because I have a slight obsession with him. But that's about it. I think everyone was played appropriately. But
he's massive. I don't know how many times I saw people say that he's got a taller standing reach than Rudy Gobert, which is just disgusting.
Yeah, it's absurd.
it's
and he
insane.
looked good in the limited minutes he got, but I mean, when you're playing with Zubac, Nance, and Zach August, I mean, there's only so many minutes to be kind of spread around in summer league. So, but hopefully he can latch on with the defenders. He's an interesting enough prospect to keep around a bit.
Yeah, he finished something like 70% around the rim in France, I think he was.
He was 78% from around the rim.
Oh, 78. Oh, my word.
It was an absurd percentage. Yeah.
Oh, my word. That's insane. Just one last thing before we move to questions. Like Jacob said, it's been great to hear positivity around Lakers players instead of constantly seeing just the nonsense of a lot of media trashing the Lakers or the young players or even fans doing it. Like how you brought up, Jacob, the Chris Mannix article, which was a complete joke. You could tell on just watching it that entire arena was full of Lakers fans. You don't have to wear a Lakers jersey or a shirt to realize like that entire arena was there because of the Lakers. Like that, it was the same way last year. Like they were packed at the very first few games until they realized like, oh, we're coached by Mark Madsen and he's implementing Byron's system. But just it's great to hear positivity around, especially two of them should be cornerstones, and the third one should be the cornerstone of the franchise going forward. Anything else that you guys forgot about it?
Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm.
All right, so we're gonna keep the podcast quick and short. So we're going to go to questions. We've got a lot of them, so we're going to be, not try and expound on them way too much. From at Darren, DAR Intellect, Batman, I believe this is Advith, predict stat lines for the young core this season. Kyle, you want to go first?
No. Yeah, I'll go. I'm just gonna throw out numbers because I hate predicting things like this. But D'Angelo, I think let's go with 21 points, 6.5 assists, 4.5 rebounds. No, I don't know.
No, that's honestly close to what I was thinking. So I mean, either we're both crazy or we're both smart.
Yeah, which I hope it's the latter. Brandon Ingram, I'll go 15 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Do I need to do Zubats? Probably. Let's do 9 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 blocks. Yep, he's doing 3 blocks a game.
Zublaka.
Yeah. And honestly, who knows what'll happen. But let's keep thinking here. Randall, let's do 13 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. And Clarkson, I don't know. I'm not including Clarkson. We have too many young players.
I, I think you just upset a lot of people.
No, I'll include Clarkson because he's valuable. Do 15, 5, and 4. Doesn't matter which one's rebounds and assists.
You're forgetting the ever popular and player of the moment.
Oh, Nance. Yeah. Let's do, because everyone wants him to start now. Let's do 14, 7, and 4.
Sounds good. Jacob.
I mean, for the most part, right around the same. I mean, Russell averaged 12 points last year, 13 last year. I think he'll be closer to 20 points, something like 7, 8 assists. I do think, I mean, he's a pretty good rebounding guard. I mean, someone like Kobe, excuse me, how good he was rebounding. So I think 4 or 5 rebounds a game. Clarkson, I think a lot depends on how good his 3-point shot becomes. I think you're looking at, around probably 17, 18 a night, with, probably 4 or 5 assists and a couple rebounds. Ingram, I think, I think he's going to come along a little slower. I think he's going to have something closer to what Russell had. I mean, I could see him scoring maybe like 12 points a game with, 3 assists and 5 rebounds or something like that, which is fine. I mean, he's 18. He'll be 19 during the season. I think like Russell, he'll have moments where he looks, really good, but I think he'll have as many moments where he looks small and he'll need to bulk up and whatnot. Randall, I think this will be a big year for him. I think he's going to average something like 14 points. Probably he's going to get his rebounds, probably 10 or 11 rebounds. And then Nance, I'm not quite as high on in terms of his statistical production because that's not really where he makes his impact. I think he's going to be, something like 8 points a game, but I mean he's a guy who'll get 8 points, 7 rebounds, 2 steals and 2 blocks or something like that. So I mean he's going to have his kind of handprint all over the court. So and then Zubac, it's going to be something. I think he's going to. I don't know how many minutes he's going to get. It's going to be something, like 8 points, probably 6 rebounds, and maybe like 1.5 blocks a game. I'm not quite as crazy as Kyle and going 3 blocks a game, but they're going to be moments for both him and Ingram where, I mean, they showed it in summer league that they're going to kind of dominate at times and get dominated at times, but that's fine. That kind of comes along with being a rookie.
I agree. I think Clarkson will average about 16 points a game, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. D'Angelo, I think you guys have them both around 20. I think it'll be around 18 or 19 with like 4 or 5 assists and 4 or 5 rebounds because he is a good rebounding guard. He had a double at summer league with 10 rebounds. I think one of the games. Randall at I would say 14 and 11, maybe 15 points. I could see at the very end of the year his assists started going up too, so I could see him 2 to 3. He averaged 1.8 last year, so I don't think 3 is out of realm of possibility. I mean, not that a lot of these guys are going to end up getting hockey assists anyways from the ball movement that should be there. I think Nance will be around 10 and 8, and with Ingram, I agree with you, Jacob. I think around like 12 points. I don't know how many assists, maybe 3, and like 4 or 5 rebounds. I don't want to include Zubats yet. They signed Tariq to that deal. Well, not officially yet, but it's coming. I don't know how much time he's going to actually get, So I don't know if he's going to be playing in D League a lot to make sure that he gets his minutes. If he plays a lot, I don't think 8 points and 8 points and like 6 rebounds is out of the realm of possibility if he's like the second big off the bench. But I just don't know. We'll have. That's one that I think we'll have to see more of. Excuse me. Sorry. Next. Oh, stupid Twitter. Next question is. Well, we kind of already talked about Zubox, but did you guys want to add anything else?
I just think you just kind of touched on it. I don't know. Playing time will be a little weird for him, especially with bringing back Tariq Black. I would be totally fine with sending him down to the D League every now and then, just so he can get some consistent minutes. Front court's a little. I don't imagine them to sign any other big men. They'd have Randall, Nance, Tariq Black, Zubac, and Mozgov, which is fine. So yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, I imagine Dang and Ingram playing some 4 as well.
Yeah.
Especially Dang. I don't know about Ingram as a 4 quite yet. So, sorry.
But yeah, no, yeah. I mean that was really what I was getting at. Was it? I just don't know where minutes are going to be. I mean, if they carve out a specific amount of minutes for him, then I think he can be productive. But I also think that he has a little bit of growth to go. So I think he's a great prospect. I mean, right before we went live, Lakers.com posted a interview with Mitch where he said himself he was surprised at how well Zubac played. That they didn't expect him to play this well. Not only because, I mean, he said they had him a couple individual workouts where they hadn't seen him play in games, and he didn't. He missed the first 2 practices, so I mean he had 1 practice before the first game, and then he went out there and impressed really from the get-go. So I'm not really sure what they're going to do with Zubac, but I'm optimistic of him regardless of how many minutes he gets this year.
Yeah. Anything to add, Kyle?
No. I mean, I was gonna say that I don't know how much they would play Black now that they have Zubac, but they also said that they really liked Black when they re-signed him, and that they didn't know why he wasn't a bigger part of the team last year. So I think that's just going to be our 3 centers, and that's nice because Black's kind of a smaller guy anyways, because that can lead to some small ball time, with Mozgov and Zubats being the larger guys. But yeah, I don't know. I really like him. I like his work ethic. I like his off the court shenanigans. He posted a picture of a Zubat on his Twitter, so that was helpful.
Or more impressively, yesterday morning maybe, posted a picture on Snapchat of him in bed, some girl sitting at the end of a bed in a Zubac jersey, Lakers jersey. So the guy's already a damn. Yeah, I would assume so. But the guy's already a damn legend. So
yeah, he basically wins.
He wins social media. That, and he's posted pictures of him at In-N-Out all the time, which Jamie's not here. It is better than Five Guys. I had it at Vegas. I had it twice in Vegas, actually. It was so good. Yes, it is. It has my seal of approval.
I haven't had it either, so whatever.
Well, you need to come out to California. You want to. Jamie doesn't really care about California other than the Lakers.
I do. Like I said, I would like I said, I would live at Staples Center if I was given the opportunity to write for the Lakers. Like, you know, at Staples Center. So whatever. Yep.
One last thing before we're moving on. I have to say that I love that he shot like 85% from the line over in Europe. It is going to be so nice not having to worry about centers not being able to make a free throw. So,
Looking at you, Dwight Howard.
yeah. I mean, Hibbert was good at the line, but a long-term piece, I'm meaning. How effective can a D'Angelo, Clarkson, Ingram, Deng, Nance small ball lineup be? I think Nance and Randall be flip-flopped in that lineup from time to time, but I think it'll be very effective. Kyle, how about you?
I mean, it depends on what you mean by the word effective. I think it can be an NBA lineup. But is it a winning NBA lineup? It is still a question that, is hard to answer from a team that was 17-65 last year. So let's calm down with the term effective and let's use the term manageable for now. And in which case, yes, it's a very manageable lineup, and I think it could be a lot of fun. So
Lots of fun. All the fun.
yeah, it's not gonna beat the 80-2 Warriors or anything like that of next year, but who knows? That's why you play the games, is because yeah, the best team on paper can still lose. So who knows? Who knows? Jacob knows.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit higher on that lineup. I honestly think that's probably going to be some variation of the lineup that we close with on most nights. I think I think it was Anthony today on Locked on Lakers that said it's not quite the lineup of death; it's more like the lineup of shin kicks. So I think that would be. You mentioned it. I mean, Nance and Randall are going to be flip-flopped from time to time, just kind of depending on who's playing better and who's a better matchup. Nance is a little better defensively. Randall's a little better offensively. So, but I mean, no matter which one you have 5 guys who can rebound and go. So I think that I don't know what it'll be in terms of how often it'll be used. I think some variation of it will be used as the most used Laker lineup next year, because I do think Ding is going to be used predominantly as a stretch 4, and the Lakers showed willingness to do it in the summer league. They had Ingram at the 4 a lot, especially closing games. So I do think that we'll see lineups like that a lot. But like Kyle said, I guess it depends on what your term of effective is, because I mean that's Randall's essentially a sophomore this year, Russell's a sophomore, Clarkson's a third-year guy, Ingram's a rookie, and then Ding's really the only proven NBA quantity. So there'll be learning curves with it, but it's a lineup I want out there because I think it's kind of the lineup of the future.
Agreed. The topic, and we've minorly touched on it. Nance versus Randall, and that's just been going back and forth on every podcast, on Twitter, on so many different articles. I just want to say I think that the idea that Nance has improved without Randall improving is it. No one's actually said. Well, they haven't exactly said it, but they've kind of put it out like that. I think it's kind of ridiculous. Like, could Randall's jump shot not be amazing? Of course, who knows what it's going to be like. But I can't see Nance starting over Randall at all. I think Randall has the higher ceiling. Yeah, all the conversations going on about the two of them, and I think Ben Rosales yesterday put it perfectly. Um, we're having all these conversations on Twitter. That does not mean in any way that the Lakers are actually having these conversations, and I'll just side with them over anyone on Twitter. So, did you guys have any ideas on that or any opinions? Because of course it's overtaken Twitter at times, like quite like 3 or 4 times in the last like week and a half or 2 weeks. Kyle.
I mean, people keep saying that they don't know what they're going to get out of Julius Randle, and they don't know what kind of player he's going to be. And I'm just thinking, does it really matter at this point? Because he's clearly playing pretty well. It's not like he had a wash season last year. He averaged a double-double for the year in 81 games in 28 minutes. That's pretty
And
awesome on a 17.
I'm sorry, those double doubles were not foolhardy or anything.
Yeah.
When it was on the Locked On podcast, and I don't want to try and like throw them under the bus, but they mentioned how it was with Hibbert he got those rebounds because Hibbert's a bad rebounding big man, but he helps other guys rebound. Randall rebounded, I think, at a 14.7 rebounds per game clip at when Hibbert was off the floor, and only 9.7 with Hibbert on the floor. So it's not ridiculous. Sorry. Go ahead,
No,
Kyle.
you're fine. That's a good point because I would have brought that up, but I think I forgot about that starting my sentences. But yeah, like it just baffles me because he played every single game except for one game last year. In limited roles in certain games, obviously, but he he averaged a double-double, and people are questioning what he can be. He can clearly be an NBA player. Sure, he has to work on his jumper so they can space the floor a little bit more, but I, I, I feel like that's a pretty easy, not an easy thing to do, but a pretty manageable thing to do when he already has the rest of his skill set down. So I simply just don't know what that entire thing is. I need to send it off to someone else though because I just get baffled by it, honestly. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. Go ahead.
I have a little interesting stat, but I don't want to harp too much on it because it's been covered everywhere. Kyle made most of the points I was going to, but you guys may have looked this up. I don't know. If you had to take a guess, where do you think Julius Randle ranked in terms of what percentage of his possessions were in isolation?
He was like second in the league, I think. High
Close.
up there.
He was fourth. He was ahead of Kobe Bryant last year in terms of isolations.
That's the system too. Like people, he's not an ISO player, so yeah.
Yeah, and just on that note, I mean, his turnover frequency was 11.7%, which is far and away the highest out of anybody. I mean, Dion Waiters is next, and he's probably in the 20s. So, yeah, he was in the 30th percentile in basically efficiency. I know a lot of people talk about, and this was a point that Pete, Laker Film Room, he made. We talk a lot about how Byron hurt D'Angelo's game. I think he could have, hopefully not, but I think he could have done more damage to Julius's game because Julius just did not get anything within the flow of the offense last year. It was always he would screen, pop to the elbow, take the ball, and then just ISO against his man. And his screens were never hard set. They were always just slip screens, and which was refreshing to see in the Team USA clip. I mean, it was one play, but he set a good screen for Russell, rolled to the basket hard, got the pass, and dunked it.
That was a
Which,
sweet pass too.
yeah, which is I honestly cannot think of one time that happened last year. Um, so I think we are all at some point guilty to being prisoners of the moment, and I think right now the kind of the moment we're stuck in is that we just watch. I mean, kudos to Larry Nance. He went out there and created this debate based on his play in summer league. So uh, I think once we kind of get away from summer league, get close to the preseason, like Ben said perfectly, just because we're debating it doesn't mean that the Lakers are. I would imagine the Lakers still envision Randall, who they took 7th overall. He was kind of the face of the rebuild for a while. I imagine they still envision him as being a star. And one last thing to touch on, this was worse than I thought. I looked up last year for offensive rollmen last year on the Lakers. The only person worse than Julius Randle was Kobe Bryant. He was worse than Roy Hibbert, worse than Ryan Kelly. He was a frequency of 9.4%, which is in the 10th percentile. He just didn't do it last year. And, I mean, with somebody who can handle the ball and kick out as much as or as well as he can, it's baffling that they didn't do it. So, I I think I mean, Julius has a higher ceiling probably. I think the Lakers will see that. But I mean, it's a good problem to have that we're debating which big man who has looked great at some point are we going to start next year. I'm happy to have the problem. In worst case scenario, we have two really good big men that we can rotate throughout the year. And I mean, we talked about having Ding and Nance or Randall as kind of the big men in a small ball lineup. I expect to see a lot of Russell, Clarkson, Ingram, Nance, and Randall out there too. With the way Nance has extended his range, and Randall has shown it a bit too. I think we could see that with how good, especially with how good of a rebounders they are, how active they are on the glass. We could see a lineup like that, and I think it would be a good lineup to run every now and then. So, but I mean, it's a debate you can have. Go for it, but I don't know that the Lakers are having that debate, and I think at the end of the day, they're still going to side with Randall, who they have a lot more invested in, I think.
I agree. Dylan Heiser, hi. Hi.
What? Hold on, what?
Dylan is apparently watching, and he commented and said hi.
Oh, so, hi, Dylan.
Let's skip over a few questions. Nelson wants to know, what do we make of Ingram playing the 4? I think as a playmaking 4 in the future, that's going to be his role. But right now, no. He's too small, in my opinion, to play a ton of it. Anything else?
I think this kind of leads in a bit to another question. I think you'll see more time of him at the 2 than you will the 4 this year because he's so small. He's just going to be bullied around a bit by bigger guys, and I think down the line that's a role for him. But I would venture to say that even Kevin Durant didn't play a lot of. I mean, obviously the whole small ball thing wasn't around his rookie year, but even like rookie Kevin Durant wouldn't have been able to play small ball 4. He's just too small.
Kevin Durant played a lot of 2 his rookie year, and it wasn't particularly great, but I'm pretty sure it didn't hold back Kevin Durant. Now, I'm not obviously saying Ingram is Kevin Durant, or is going to be, but I don't think it would ruin him. He's clearly has the gigantic wingspan, and even to contain guys, even though his foot speed isn't amazing. That kind of touched on I Heart Basketball's question, so let's skip over a few of these because we're running a little later. Uh, would you bring Randall off the bench? I think that was kind of
No.
yeah. We kind of answered that already.
I mean, I will say it'll be interesting to see what they choose because it's going to depend on how well Ding plays because Ding as a small forward last year, which was basically the first half of the year, wasn't good. Ding as a power forward last year was very good.
Yeah.
So still think they probably start with Randall and Ding. I'm of the belief that you start Russell, Ingram, Ding, Randall, Mozgov.
Hmm.
You run with that lineup for a bit, and then I think what makes this team so fun and so interesting is there's so much versatility.
Yeah.
Um, from there, you can put out whatever lineups you want, but I do think that Randall will still start.
I agree. I had one last one real quick. Um, sorry, guys. Real quick, did you want to do who's the player from that Eric Pincus article? I don't. I can't think of anyone.
It's J.R.
Uh,
Smith.
Yeah,
it's
sure. J.R. Smith. Well, we we were tossing around ideas. Let me find them here. I think I said Michael Beasley. We can go Gilbert Arenas. We can go Adrian Payne, Della Vadova,
Okay.
Kevin Garnett,
man.
Sun Yu even.
Oh
Uh,
man.
or I think the one we decided on was getting back the rights to Arter Majuk from the Bulls.
That's.
I
So
think we
I
need that.
think that's what they're saving the cap space for.
I think we should probably give up those 2 seconds that we got.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I'll just briefly touch on it. I don't know who it can be because I don't know who. Nobody needs cap space anymore. The only thing,
yeah.
I mean, this is pure speculation, and this will appease many Laker fans. Mo Harkless is still out there unless they think that they can put together some type of sign and trade with either the picks they have or the maybe even Calderon himself. I don't. That might be what they're looking at. I don't know. Other than that, it's anybody's guess.
Yeah.
Poor Jose Calderon.
He's this year's was it Luke Ridnour last year or the year
Oh
before?
Yeah.
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 Kyle, you have questions from LP?
Yeah, and we're just gonna
Your
super
rapid
quickly
fire.
answer these. So first question, it's not even a question. It's just someone saying trade Russell and Randall for Paul George. No, that's the answer. Moving on, is that J.R. Smith rumor legit? No. How could he help the team this season and in the future? He couldn't. Well, he probably could because we were a 17-win team. Would he be the starter? No. Okay, moving on. Now you guys can answer these.
No, it's fine.
Who's going to be the leading scorer on the Lakers next season?
Russell.
D'Angelo, yeah.
I agree.
The only guy that I could see scoring more would be Clarkson.
I was going to say Mozgov, but okay.
Mozgov.
Yeah, Mozgov. Why do you think they have not yet released Nick Young? I think it's just a salary thing at this point. They're crossing their T's and dotting their I's. Like, they haven't officially signed Tariq Black. Is that the only guy? Have they signed Huertas yet?
No, they haven't signed him.
Okay. Have they signed Ingram
They haven't
yet?
signed Ingram yet either. No.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
basically, it's just not closing a door that you don't have to. I mean,
Yeah.
if something comes up and for some reason Nick Young's contract becomes an asset somewhere in some trade or something, then he's gone and you don't have to pay him. So there's no reason to close that door yet. I think that's the only
Right.
reason.
I think what it is pretty much that it's just going to be used as filler for some type of salary dump somewhere or some. There's Alex Kennedy a couple weeks ago said that there was going to be a ton of trades. I've seen like 2, if that. So maybe if the trade season picks up, I know that they only have I think 2 weeks left on that, or is it the 31st, so I guess that would be 10 days away. So before they have to decide what they're going to do with him. Regardless, he's gone. I can't see him staying.
Not a
So.
chance. Yeah. If AB can hit 35% of his threes next year, how much does he play?
I'm insanely. If he can hit that high on threes, I play him over of a guy that Jacob called me out on Twitter about. I play him over Lou Williams because I can't stand Lou and his no defense.
I probably would too, honestly.
I would as well.
I think Lou Williams is probably not going to be on the team after the trade deadline because his contract's too valuable. I think they are. This is speculation, obviously, but I would imagine they're hoping Luke Walton's offense restores some of his trade value, and they can sell him. And I probably would assume Jose Calderon, trade both of them at the deadline and get anything in return. Calderon only because I don't know why they signed him when they had 3 other point guards on the roster. So.
Well, they took him as a salary dump.
Excuse me, Huertas. I don't know why they re-signed him.
Okay.
I was looking at the wrong name. Yeah. So, and I think Gary Kester's the one that pointed it out. I would imagine they're going to try to dump Calderon. I mean, he has value, and I liked the addition. So, as a veteran point guard who can hit threes and pass the ball, he's a perfect type of bench guy. So. But if Anthony Brown's hitting 35% of his threes, you play him over Lou Williams, and Anthony Brown's probably the backup too.
I agree. All right, I think that's it for today, fellas. Do you guys have anything left to add, or do you have anything to plug?
Nelson's gonna have a couple articles coming out soon on Lakers Pulse, and that's it. Jamie comes back tomorrow, I think.
Wonderful.
Or maybe it's Saturday. Something like that.
The Valiant leader, we haven't crumbled.
Yeah, so I don't have to tweet anymore. So I don't have to do anything.
Tweet like jobs.
I know. I'm taking like a week off. Just
only accessing Twitter on the phone.
Yeah, that's all I ever. That's how I only do it. Is on the phone.
It's like
that's
10 columns. Okay. And with that,
Jacob, do you have anything? You just came out with a article a couple days ago, didn't you?
Yeah, I've been. This summer is a little bit more of a free time for me, so I've been kind of pumping out a couple articles on Lakers Outsiders. The one I had most recently was how basically D'Angelo Russell played himself out of trade talks during the summer league. And we had this discussion a little bit, but it's interesting to think, if Russell goes into summer league, plays anything like he did last year, the trade talks are probably going wild right now, trying for fans wanting Westbrook. So I just kind of thought it was interesting to kind of go back and think about, if just basically his play kind of reassured everyone, okay, he's the guy here, and we don't need to move him. But other than that, I like I mentioned before, I have a new pod. If you guys anybody wants to listen to it, if you go to my Twitter at Jacob Rude, it's the pinned tweet. I'd appreciate any feedback or anything, and I appreciate all the listens you guys have given me on that so far. So it'll be a weekly thing, just kind of about sports in general, not necessarily really not Laker related at all. I mean, we'll talk about the Lakers a bit, but just something kind of new I thought I'd try.
Fun. I don't ever have anything because I'm just a slave to school.
Oh, no. Because you're going to do your rankings coming up soon, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's not until the season starts. So
no, I want a preseason one.
Oh, my word, a preseason one. Oh, my word. I guess I could do that tonight.
Uh,
I'm just playing.
no,
I'm
please
just
don't.
playing.
Actually,
I'm
save
just
it for
kidding.
when Jamie comes back and I can talk it off.
Oh man, see how many people I can piss off with that one.
Yeah.
All-
Just always put the Lakers at 30.
oh man. All right. Well, I think that's it for us. Thank you, fellas, for joining me, and y'all have a great night.
All right, see you, man.
Later.